DeSantis says there's something going on with DeSantis and Trump right now that's a little bit, I don't know if you guys are following the story closely or not. DeSantis says he regrets not speaking out much louder against Trump's recommendation to stay home, okay? DeSantis, this is a CNN story. Florida Governor DeSantis said one of his biggest regrets in office was not speaking out much louder in March 2020 when former President Trump advised the nation to stay home to slow the fast-spreading coronavirus. DeSantis blamed people like Dr. Anthony Fauci for advising Trump to consider a shutdown. Fauci, the country's top infectious disease expert, was part of the coronavirus response team that led by Vice President Mike Pence and included other public health experts, but the decision was Trump's to make, and DeSantis ultimately followed the White House lead, closing Florida schools, government buildings, gyms, bars, and restaurants, dining rooms, and advising Floridians to stay home. The other day, Trump was being interviewed. Who was he being interviewed by? Was it Hannity? I don't know. He was being interviewed. I don't know who was being interviewed by. And he said, you know, there are certain governors out there that don't even have the backbone to say they've taken a booster. Didn't say name, but we know the girl that always interviews Trump, what's her name, from Fox Business, Bartiromo, is it?
Maria Bartiromo?
She was interviewing DeSantis, and she said, hey, Governor DeSantis, have you taken a booster? And he didn't necessarily say yes. Didn't say, yes, I've taken a booster. Trump, when he was asked by Hannity, he said yes. What do you think is going on here between Trump and DeSantis?
I think DeSantis is trying to put distance between himself and Trump. You know, show that there's a difference between him and how he handles things. Because, I mean, like, Trump is still the front runner, right, for the nomination?
Yes.
I mean, he's
in the Republican Party?
76%.
He's still the front runner. DeSantis, has received a lot of praise from the right on his handling of things, criticism from the left. They called him Death Santis and all of that. But, the lockdowns were so heavily criticized on the right. And a lot of people saw it early on. A lot of people said, hey, if we keep kids home, there's going to be problems. If we stay inside, there's going to be drug problems. There's going to be depression. There's going to be suicides. There's going to be people were really warning about what would happen. And a lot of people went along with that. I think it's good that he's saying that he regrets not coming against it strong. I don't know that, hindsight's always 20/20, right? Like, can you really know that would have been the right thing to oppose at that time? Maybe not, but I think he's trying to distance himself from Trump.
I got a question for you. Follow up on that topic.
Sure.
The only reason he would distance himself is because he may run in 2023, 2024. Because if he really doesn't want to run for president in 2023, 2024, he wouldn't push too hard against Trump because he's going to need Trump's votes in 2028. So if he goes this angle, the way I perceive it is, I think my chances of DeSantis wanting to run officially went up 20-30% simply because of his comment he made here.
That's how I see it.
You have no other motive to call out Trump in this setting here than wait if you really only run in 2028. I think he's running.
Yep.
I don't know.
I think he's running in 2024?
No, listen, that what he just said right there, he's trying to tell you, voting for me is very different than voting for Trump.
Yeah.
That's a campaign message. Again, I may be wrong.
I think that message works in the general election. Listen, if Trump wants the Republican nominee, everyone should just stay home and not even waste their frickin' time. Republicans are on board with Trump. If you're an anti-Trump rhino, whatever, dude, move over. Trump has that nomination. Now, do I think Trump is going to get elected in the general election? Likely not, but we'll see. We'll see if he's still as polarizing when it comes to 2024. I don't think Biden is going to run again in 2024. If I'm DeSantis, I look at the nonsense and I say, I know you might disagree. You think he should, strike while the iron's hot. I look at the nonsense and I say, dude, I'll just see you guys in 2028 and just be the man and just and completely dominate at that point. I don't think he wants to be in Trump's shadow. I think that is not good for his long-term legacy. Being Trump's VP, I don't think that's his look.
Gerard.
You die the hero, you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. He's hot right now. He's never going to be hotter. There's never going to be a weaker opponent. If he's ever going to run, it's now. If he waits 4 years, that's 4 more years.
But what do you mean by weaker opponent?
The Democratic Party is as weak as it's
but
ever
I'm not
been.
even talking about. He has not even you got to get through your primary before you even think about Democrats
absolutely.
right now. And
There's
he's
a
not.
lot.
Do you think? Here's the question for you.
Sure.
You're a pretty smart guy. If DeSantis runs, and obviously Trump, I think, is going to run, is there any chance DeSantis, unseats Trump as the nominee? The Republican Party?
I think you'd be shocked how many people, traditional conservatives, would back DeSantis over Trump. I think that the MAGA.
So you think DeSantis would beat Trump in a primary? Is that what you're saying?
I'm not saying that whatsoever. I'm saying I think it would be a better fight than you think it would be. And I personally believe MAGA has always been less about Donald Trump and more about anybody willing to fight back against the
I
globalist
disagree.
left.
I think it's just Trump. That's it.
No,
All right, so answer the question. Can DeSantis beat Trump in a primary?
Yeah, for sure.
For sure?
Yeah.
There's no way you can have that kind of confidence, for sure.
Yeah.
Can DeSantis beat Trump in a primary?
Well, let me ask you a
gonna
question.
take
Why
work.
would you ask a question if you weren't going to accept an answer that came from the question? Let me ask you a question. Do you think white is black? No, it's not. You're an idiot. What kind of a question is that?
I respect the fact that you actually think that way, but you think actually somebody in today's climate, you think anybody can beat Trump in a Republican primary?
I swear to God, I think sometimes, man, you wake up in the middle of the night and you think Donald Trump's standing over your bed or something like that.
No,
He's not the
at all.
boogeyman. The guy has
The
nothing.
guy has 85%, 90% approval rating in the Republican Party, if not if it's higher than that.
What's DeSantis?
DeSantis isn't doing well in Florida. I don't think people know him on the national level.
Let me ask you this. How much overlap do you think Donald Trump's audience is with Ron DeSantis's?
How much overlap?
Meaning similar beliefs, similar values, similar
How much
principles,
overlap?
policies.
Very similar.
Very similar. How much overlap do you think there is in Ron DeSantis's audience to Donald Trump's? Who has broader appeal?
Nationally,
Sure.
DeSantis. I said I would vote for DeSantis. I wouldn't vote for a Trump.
So then,
like
what,
you
what
said,
do
the 12%.
You just answered yourself. Who can
Yeah,
win a
but I'm not
primary?
in the Republican primary.
Would
I'm
you
talking
ever?
about
Would you
Republicans.
ever have thought that it was John Kasich who made it to the end of the last primary?
Yeah.
Dude,
No, that's a traditional, Mitt
was a
Romney-esque
sweetheart, though.
Republican.
He was a
Exactly,
sweetheart.
governor of Ohio.
every establishment GOP, all the establishment GOP money, all the donors, they're all going to go.
Seth,
running.
what do you think? What do you think?
About whether he'll run?
Yeah, no, whether he can beat Trump if he runs.
I mean, the polls change all the time. It's hard to predict those things. As of right, if it was held today, I don't think he can beat Trump. We'll see what happens over the course of time. What else happens? What else? I think the media has done a very good job of painting DeSantis as reckless and getting it. When you go outside of Florida and people, when they hear about what's going on in Florida, a lot of people think that Florida is like being like run into the ground by
Yeah.
No, I
DeSantis, and he's
disagree.
just killing people.
No,
the
dude.
media is doing a good job of that.
Seth, I think
nationwide.
you're off.
Everybody's moving to Florida.
I think you're way off, man. I got so many friends and family in New York, New Jersey, Connecticut. They think Ron DeSantis is running the promised land down here.
Yeah, well, I mean, the numbers of people
There's-
flooding here,
there's
I
a
mean,
part
prove
of
that
what-
out, but
there's
to some extent.
part of, dude, I'm in Nevada. I'm in California. I'm in different places. Here's what everybody says. Dude, how bad is Florida right now? I'm like, what do you mean? How bad is Florida
It all
right
depends
now?
on where they get their information.
So if you enjoyed this little short segment from the podcast that we did, here's another short segment to watch. Or if you want to see the entire podcast, click over here. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.